Welcome to another episode of NOLAforever.com. And most of the site, I think as I mentioned before, it is focused on New Orleans, but I also wanted to cover Louisiana culture as a whole. And one of the biggest things that we have here in Louisiana, South Louisiana, North Louisiana, Mid Louisiana, is actually the plantations. There are plantations in New Orleans, but most of the plantations are actually outside of New Orleans. And the most popular one in Louisiana is the River Road plantations. So this is about an hour and a half away outside of New Orleans. And we're gonna take a trip and see all these plantations. The very first one we're at is the San Francisco Plantation. As I get closer, we'll go ahead and get in there. And I think this particular plantation, I think if you saw the sign, it came out in the 1800s. But I don't think this plantation will allow you to go inside the actual plantation itself. As you can see, it's actually a National Historic Landmark, I think in 1976. And so it's not too big. It's not as big as what you would think for plantations. Oh, and here's the sign. So if you ever come down here on the plantation tours, you're going to see 4 main plantations. So when you first start, you start at the San Francisco Plantation, which is the purple one, and then you head over to the Laurel Plantation, which is actually the plantation for the Brer Rabbit, if you know about that book. And then from there you go to the Oak Alley, which is probably the largest one, and then the final one is the Humas House. And I'm pretty sure at this plantation you cannot go inside. And it won't let you take pictures inside as well. And a lot of plantations, they don't allow you to take pictures inside. I can't remember the reason why. But. And as you can see, it's actually beautiful. Oh, and as I'm shooting this today, this is actually the 4th of July today, 2015. So happy 4th of July for all the people who are going to enjoy the fireworks. And here, this is a nice area right here. And as with most plantations, there is actually the main house, the plantation house. But then there's also slave quarters, and we'll go to that as well. As you can see, that's gorgeous. And as I said, this plantation, they don't allow you to go inside. Maybe the other plantations, if you pay normally to go inside these plantations, normally there's like a tour fee. So they're not too bad. Normally they're around $17 to $20, anywhere around there. Let's see if we can take a peek inside. And normally, if it's not the holidays, this place is going to be more packed. Okay, so yeah, you can't really. Let me see if I can go inside. Yeah, right here, we're actually at the front of the house. There's a fountain right over there, and this might look like it's the back of the house, but it's actually the front, because you know, these roads, these streets didn't exist back then. So as you can see, it is really ornate. It's really colorful. It's actually an amazing sight. I mean, most plantation homes are plain white or some variation of white, but this home is definitely unique. And this And if you're wondering, well, as I didn't know myself, but the reason why the door is red, we'll get up closer, is because as I mentioned, having colors is a sign of wealth back then in the South. And so when you have a door that's in red paint, that means you own this place. You don't own a mortgage to any bank or anybody. So that's definitely another sign of a significant wealth. And that's really, really ornate. As you can see, there's a lot of space up here. So just got done with taking a tour of the San Francisco Plantation. It's about 30 to 40 minutes. It's a really, really good tour. I mean, that's one of the best parts besides the actual plantation grounds itself, is actually learning a lot about the history of these places, and also the South and how it came about. Now right here we actually have the slave cabins or quarters, and if I remember correctly, this is actually not part of the original structure. This was actually imported here from another place. So this is more of like the low-end slave cabins or quarters, and this is for, they call them skilled quarters. So these would be people who have are like blacksmiths, or maybe carpenters. We'll check this out. It's actually raining right now. Check inside, and there's actually 2 rooms in here for the skilled quarters. As you can see, there's not a lot of space, but versus the normal quarters, this is a lot of space. So I'm not sure. I think these are the original equipment, and the fireplaces here. And this is what they call a slave inventory. And so most of these plantation house owners, they would have this thing called a plantation inventory. So then that tells you how wealthy that you are. So they'll list the slave's name, when they passed, and then how much they were worth. And right there, that's actually the outhouse back here. And this is the smaller quarters, and this one's real basic. It's only a single room, fireplace, and then actually I think this is actually a school. Yeah, this is an education room. The only thing is slaves were not actually allowed to get an education. Here's another inventory, and so they weren't allowed in here. And if they did try to get an education, the masters of the plantation, they themselves would be punished. And that's pretty much it for the first plantation, the San Francisco Plantation, and the gift shops right over here. And oddly enough, it wasn't named San Francisco because it was San Francisco, California. It's actually based upon a French phrase, and it's San Francisco something, I can't remember, but that actual wording actually means not a penny to my name, which means you're broke. And the owners of this place was the Mormion family, and the father, Edmund, I think it was Edmund, he died suddenly, and so his remaining son, two sons actually, I think his Boisson and then his European wife Louise, they lived here, and with his younger brother Charles. And whenever they were getting this house redesigned and with all these colors, because back then having colors was a sign of wealth, and his wife wanted this to be as colorful as possible. And because she had spent so much money on the house, he used that phrase that he didn't have a penny to his name, and then hence the name, the San Francisco Plantation. And so as you can see, that is actually an absolutely gorgeous plantation. And that's it, and we'll see the other plantations here. And so if you like these videos, be sure to subscribe, and check out some more videos on the next episode of NOLAforever.com. And